Verse 8, saying above, slaughter and meal, etc., he says, which are offered according to the Torah. He's talking about these are things according to the first covenant. Okay, the first. And then he said, see, I come to do your desire, O Elohim. He takes away the first to establish the second, the superior, the better, more fully developed, saying, yes, you had the temple with its priests and its slaughterings, and now I'm bringing you the better, the more superior, the second. That's all this is saying here. Everything that you've already heard, he's just reiterating it. There was nothing new that I just said. He's just restating it, just for clarity. He said that in the Psalms, it talks about how a body you prepared for me. See, I come in the roll of the book. It's been written according, you did not desire to slaughter. He did not want to kill all those animals. There was a purpose to it. Do we understand it fully? No. Would you have done it that way? Probably not if it was your idea. Because some people say, well, why would he bring it back? Because whatever it did, we still need. I'll say it again, whatever it did. Don't ask me to explain what it did. I don't fully understand it any more than anybody else does. But whatever it did, we still need. So that's why he's bringing it back, because it did something different than what Yeshua does. They're not the same thing. They're not equal. One did not substitute the other. What they want you to understand, though, is that the things that you need without a temple can still happen without the temple. The lessons learned when a people are living together, like in the millennium, a temple might teach them the lessons that he always intended Israel to learn through the temple system. Do I understand that fully? No. Nobody does. No matter how much you may understand the temple service, doesn't mean we fully understand why it had to be that way. What we can understand is the lessons that it teaches us and all the metaphors and all the pictures and all those kind of things, all the instruction in it. But just recognize that whatever it did, we still need it. Otherwise, he wouldn't bring it back. Because people say, well, why would he do that if we have Messiah now? Because it doesn't do what Messiah did. Messiah doesn't do what it did. They're not the same. You could get forgiveness just through repentance. So you didn't need to make a sacrifice and an offering at the temple to be forgiven, although shedding blood and going to the temple would bring that. But what you need Yeshua for that none of that does is the redemption, the taking away. Okay, when it talks about the taking away of sin. So now he's comparing the two again. And he said, look, it was not his desire that we should need this system, but being fleshly people with our conscience problems and everything else, he believed we needed to do it with this first covenant system. And now he's saying, but in the second covenant, he says, I'm going to come. That's when you're ready to say, see, I come to do your desire. See, when we still have a problem coming to do his desire, I guess we need that other system. Because it's now when we're ready to say, I come to do your desire, Elohim, he takes away the first to establish the second. By that desire, we have been set apart through the offering of the body of Yeshua, Messiah, once for all. He's trying to kind of line these things up. So the first one had slaughter offerings. The second one has a desire to do Yah's will. All right? And indeed, every priest stands day by day doing service and repeatedly offering the same slaughter offerings, which are never able to take away sin. But they did other things. You know what? Some of you grew up with a parent that said every time you did a certain thing or said a certain word, you had to put something in a jar. A nickel, a quarter, a dollar, whatever it was. Depends on how old you are. And at some point, the message was supposed to be, this is getting expensive, I better make a change. You know what? How many mistakes would you have to make and give up? You know how expensive a goat is? Or a lamb or a bull? You might stop being so distracted and stop making the mistakes if it costs you that much every time you did. There are lessons in this, right?